the sector offers. So just to give you a brief to all of you that what is this program and who is supporting it. I mean, you might have received the invitation which talks, use the word UK-Pact GR share. So this is the UK-Pact program supported by Government of UK and under the Green Recovery Challenge Fund. And I'll give you some brief about that, what they do and what their intention is, and the project team and how it is connected to climate change, and the subject which I will be handling it, how the policy is getting it evolved in India, and then the professional opportunity for I would say a different kind of professions and in the e-mobility sector. So just to give you about that, how the UK-Pact program, who are they and what kind of mandate they have. As the name indicates, the UK-Pact is supported by the British government, which says partnering for accelerated climate transition. It's a program, it's a bilateral program between Government of India and the Government of the UK. In fact, they are working with many other countries. So under that, they have been supporting the especially the climate change mitigation agenda and e-mobility. They have taken it as one of the identified sector where they are working with the federal government, which is the central government, and the different state government. And the prime objective is to provide support in terms of capacity building through technical assistance to achieve enhanced and sustainable action on emission reduction. That's the main agenda they have. It's like how they can raise the ambition of variety of stakeholders, including the government, public sector, the banks, the academia, the training institute, how they can really be proactive in terms of fighting the climate change mitigation agenda. And they have two themes, which are one is like theme 1, which is a greening of financial system. There are many activities they are doing under that. And the theme 2, under which this program has been designed, is like electrifying urban mobility. So this is a very brief, I would say, on the UK-Pact, how they are supporting this program and under which this training program we are executing it. So as I said, that the second theme, which is electrifying urban mobility, the scope for this, I would say, capacity building program, the objective is it's like how we can really help the state government, the different stakeholders, which I mentioned, in preparing and delivering action plan to enable faster uptake of electrical vehicle in public and private transport, which include the buses, the two-wheeler, three-wheeler, and even the how the support system in terms of the charging, in terms of the different policy which is required, incentive mechanism which required, how we can really do a hand holding of all kind of stakeholders who matters from the scaling of the program, from the replication of the good practices. So that's where the mandate for this training program is. We are also helping, our partners are also working on redesigning a public transport network. Mobility, when we talk about the buses, and it's not only the technology we are going to talk about, but network also has to need to be looked into, and how we can really be efficient when it has to be redesigned. And business model, this is a third and very important note. Anything new which is going to be adopted by any country or need to be promoted has to have a business model, which really attract the investor, which really attract the manufacturer vendors to participate in the whole drive. So that's where the business model, I mean, the UK-Pact also support in terms of how the other countries are doing it, what kind of technology is possible, what kind of R&D is required, whether already learned practices, how it can be brought back to the India. So the title of the project which we are doing, it's called Institutional Capacity Building Framework Program to accelerate adoption of electric mobility in public transport. We have selected Kakinada, which is in Andhra Pradesh, Kakinada is one of the pilot city where Kakinada Municipal Corporation has been working very aggressively on promoting e-mobility in the city. And Kakinada Smart City Corporation and Municipal Corporation are working together on this subject, where the entire gamut, the two-wheeler, three-wheeler, even the autos are under the umbrella where they are promoting it, yeah, as an e-mobility program. So just to give you a brief that who are the people behind this training program and who are the partner, the project team. The three partners we are, Greentree, and under which this we are, I would say, the leading the training and capacity building program. Then there RTI International Research Triangle Institute India, who is a partner to this program, and Urban Mass Transit Company. These three firms all doing work on the three different pieces. We are doing the capacity building program with Greentree having it more than decade experience with many countries working on energy efficiency and climate change program, and being one of the leading, I would say, organizations who has been working with central government and the state government on promoting this concept, as I said, more than 10 years now. And RTI, who is our another main partner, I would say, they have an international organization working with many states in India and across the world on the subject, and they have been leading this activity under the ECO-PACT, and our important partner under this program. UMTC, who as the name suggests, they are the one who is like had an experience of working with state government and the municipal corporation on I would say augmenting the public transport along with the private and government sector transport complete restructuring. They have been working with Kakinada Municipal Corporation on suggesting them that how the change has to happen it over a period of time. They have a very strong knowledge base in terms of designing such programs, supporting the government, hand-holding, doing it. So we three jointly bid this for the project, and we got it in doing the implementation of the program. And as I said, and about Greentree, we have been working on a many international and national developmental program, work with many donor funded agency, which is called USAID, UNDP, Climate Works, and many others, where the energy efficiency and climate change related program has been done. We have done a lot of training and capacity building program, and one of our flagship program, but we have trained around more than, I would say, 2,500 certified energy and auditors and manager with the support of Bureau of Energy Efficiency. And that's kind of outlook the Greentree have when we talk about our training and capacity building program. It's important to mention that Greentree has its separate vertical, I would say, an education arm, which we call it as the GT Academy. Under the GT Academy, we have been doing this training and capacity building program. And then this new age course in sustainability, I would say the single objective of GT Academy is like how we are going to bridge the gap between industry and academia. Whenever anybody is going to pass out, they lack that practicality. So that's where we bring the value addition when we do our courses, which we have experienced faculty members who are directly from the industry, who knows that what are the gaps and how this gap need to be fulfilled. So we make them industry ready when they enroll with our training program. The implementation model for the training with the current context for the last 2 years, we have evolved with a hybrid model where it is going to be online and offline training model, and we also held them in the placement opportunity. This is just brief on that. Now coming to that, when we talk about the e-mobility and how it is connected with the climate change, why it is important, it doesn't require more convincing, but one point which I would like to mention it under the deep decarbonization approach to mitigate climate change. This is very important, and few of you might be already aware that one thing which which is really bothering the entire world, is like the sea level rise. And that is something we have seen it based on the data, based on the last 15-20 year data, whatever the projection was made that how the sea level is going to rise. Actually, it is very alarming, and the sea level rise is much higher than the projected one. We all know that under the Paris Agreement, which is ratified by 174 country, the aim was to hold the temperature rise below the 2 degrees centigrade. This is what, but we also seen it based on the practical experience, based on the updated data which we have received it from the lot of international organizations, so that credible. We have found that this 2-degree rise is not going to be sufficient enough if we really wanted to combat this climate change. This is what the message is. This is what I would say that the concern of the entire world, including the India, and that's where we have seen it, a lot of program which is really going to be part of mitigation activity, something on that. So coming to the next, and I'm not going to touch about very detailed, but how the entire world is really working on that, the possible solutions in terms of energy efficiency. Like energy efficiency is one of the I would say the component which from the building, from the industry, from the household, that the work has been going on. Another one is decarbonized electricity production, the way electricity is going to produce. And we have seen it, the India policy and Indian think tank and decision makers have a lot of program of renewable energy. So how we can really make our energy production green, how we can really reduce the emission at the production level. This is the second pillar. And the third, where it is getting it used, the electrification of energy consumption. So wherever there's oil-based, I would say energy consumption, the diesel or petrol, I mean, how we can really do the electrification of that. And one of the main, the reason of touching upon that electrification is that it helps in combating the local emission at the city level, at the municipal level emission. And that's where the air quality, which is another factor, which really helps the city, which really helps the people who lives there. And that's where the electrification is important. Many of you may see that when it is going to be electrification, then there's going to be emission at the production level. And that's the second point, where decarbonized electricity production, where a lot of technological enhancement is going on, a lot of, I would say, sharing of renewable energy is coming into the picture, where we can really work upon reducing the carbon emission. So this is something which I wanted to show it based on the data and the research then, and it has been proven and doesn't require any kind of further justification that EVs are better for the environment from compared to when you're talking about the IC engine based. The lifetime emission of electrical vehicle compared to any gasoline vehicle in around the world is like 51% lower, and that is what we are talking about when we were talking about a gasoline car based thing. And one of the studies also say the electric car had approximately 25% lower life cycle impact than internal combustion engine cars, and that cars we are talking about small car, the medium size, large car, and luxurious car. So this kind of doesn't require any further justification that EVs is something which is still require justification in terms of bringing it into the mass uses. So, and that's the reason you might have seen many country has been working on this promoting EV. In our country, every almost second day, if you open your either electronic media or the print media, the news, and there is a news about the electric mobility and how the different states are working it, what the government intent is, what is government is planning it, and that is something is very evident in a normal day-to-day talking. So how the policy is in place from the EV perspective. So India almost has started talking about 7-8 years back, when the first time in 2013, India launched the National Electricity mobility emission plan, which is NEM, and that's where the first time India has shown the intent, announcing that NEM policy paper, where it talks about that India is going to get into the electrical mobility, where the public transport, where the private sector cars and two-wheelers is going to be launched. In 2015, the first robust, I would say, India commitment has came, where the when we say commitment is made, means government has allocated fund for promoting this electrical mobility program. It's under the FAME, which is called faster adoption of hybrid and electrical vehicles, and almost 900 crore government has spent on promoting this FAME. 2017, the government announces plan to transform India into e-vehicle system. In the 2017, they have almost set a target for 15 years. By 2030, India is going to be transformed the e-vehicle ecosystem. So it's not only the vehicle which your government has talked about. They understand that when the ecosystem is going to be required, the charging infrastructure, the different policy and incentive mechanism, the status of industry, the status of MSME which is required, the skill power, all this comes under the ecosystem. And that's where in 2017 they said that within 15 years we are going to be geared up with that. In 2019, based on the development, based on the involvement of the different stakeholder, government has further given its commitment in terms of FAME 2, where they've allocated 10,000 crore, from the 900 crore to 10,000 crore in 2019, just for the period of 3 years. And that shows a very, very strong commitment of government in India, how they are going to be very serious about that. Again, in 2020, the industry, the MSME body, has come into the picture, an outlay of around 18,000 crore. They said it's going to be given to the manufacturing, export, and storage of lithium-ion cells, essential for developing electrical vehicles. So you just imagine that how this government, different department has started working in terms of supporting this, the complete ecosystem which is required. And one of the estimate which Niti Aayog has come out, that around 40% of our electrical vehicle, they estimate, and that it's going to be on electric mobility by 2030. And then it means that within a 10-year, most of the vehicle which you are going to notice on the road it's going to be based on e-mobility. So that is kind of, I would say, the umbrella under which the e-mobility program is. And as I mentioned, every second day some kind of statement. And recently a few days back only, our minister has announced that the cost of the e-mobility is almost going to be at par with the petrol and diesel vehicle in the next 2 to 3 years. And this is a very, very big announcement, which says it means that he has a interaction with the industry body and association, and there are some plan which is working on that, how the cost can be made affordable for that. So this is the policy. This is something I have spoken about, how the money has been allocated under the FAME 1 and 2 from 900 crore to 10,000 crore, and that is for the complete ecosystem which you are talking about, including a charging infrastructure. So, and these incentives, this government allocation, where they are going to use it, as I said, demand incentive, how the demand is going to be increased, and that's where a lot of incentive which has been provided in terms of the tax, in terms of the putting the charging infrastructure, and that's where the key is, where the business houses, where the business entrepreneurships, where the employees, where the academia, where the training institute has really started getting it benefited from this kind of incentive. And if anybody wanted to know more about that, a lot of information is available on the government website. They have a dedicated website on the e-mobility, and I'll show you that what kind of information it reflects. So FAME 2, it was initially for the 3 years, it extended for the another 2 years, which includes the 2-watt, 3-watt e-buses, and has an incentive program for everything which supports the deployment of e-mobility on the roads. So that is the kind of recent extension. There is the hope that it's not only up to the 2024. There will be another, I would say, add on to these kind of incentive. The I would say the support will definitely continue, but it will for the upgraded version, which is required based on the experience gained in the last 4 or 5 years. So this is just a snapshot, which is like 4 or 5 months old, and Government of India has FAME 2 has a very good dashboard which they have developed it. Every state almost like working on that, and it shows you that what kind of vehicle is on the road from the public and private sector perspective, depending upon it has been sold by the I would say a different manufacturer. So this is the number, very dynamic in figure. If anybody can open the website and just see that how much is its kind of CO2 reduction potential, how much is the fuel saves, how much is going to really help the country from the dependency on the fossil fuel. So this is just to show you the number, how the country is moving towards deploying the electrical vehicle on the road. And as I said, this we have doing this program under the Kakinada Municipal Corporation. So I just wanted to show you that how AP has responded when Central has shown their interest. Andhra Pradesh was very, I would say, early in the stage after India has shown 2013, 14, and 16 itself, 2016 itself, they have come out with the full-fledged policy with the empowerment in 2018. And that's where the Andhra Pradesh government has come out on the different policy, and then they have around 14 notified state EV policy approved in 2018, which was started in 16 and 18. Within a span of 2 years, they have come out with a 14 policy, and those policies are like for the complete ecosystem. They have a very rigorous program for the academia in terms of developing the skill set which is required to support it. It's not only the manufacturer, I'm saying it, it's important to have a skill set from the engineering colleges to the ITI, for the training institute, for the short-term courses, and that's where the government is working on that. Many city level deployment, energy management, environmental monitoring, and everything they are working it in to ensure that this program is getting it full government support from the Andhra Pradesh side. So one of these are the slides which is say under the policy document. It says that what kind of employment potential, they say it's around 60,000 employment potential is going to be required in the next 4 to 5 years, and this is a huge number. It's only the e-mobility one, and they are targeting around 10,000 buses by 2029, 10,000 EV mobilization, 10 lakhs EV mobilization by 2000 in the next, I would say, at 4 to 5 years. Although they say investment mobilization of 30,000 crore to by 2023. This is the one of the projection they made it in the policy document. And in terms of the manufacturing, they are saying electric buses fleet of battery electric vehicles and fuel cell electric vehicles is required, and the phasing out of the fossil fuel by 2024. Oh, this is very, very strong commitment when government takes a step of phasing it out. And like 1 lakh slow and fast charging station, which is important for the success of any e-mobility program by any city. So that kind of policy initiative and the support which the government have, they have a lot of subsidies which is on the charging station, the swapping station. We are going to hear in the next few sessions, we are going to hear about the swapping station, how the business model is going to be, how they are successfully working on that. And just before I close, I just wanted to touch upon that what kind of professional opportunities is for the employee, for the new generation of technical and non-technical people, which the e-mobility sector is going to offer that. And based on the certain data, which is India is expected to have 30% of the vehicle, which 30% is very conservative, although Niti Aayog was talking about the 40% by 2030. So almost around 25 crore vehicles India the road have, and if it is 30%, the 10 crore vehicle is going to be on the mobility, and that's the huge number which you're talking about. Increasing vehicle population on the road requires a huge ecosystem, and that's where there is an opportunity for equipment manufacturer and the component companies, and that's where it is directly linked to the jobs which the sector is going to offer. According to the estimate of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, the EV industry alone will create a 1 crore job in the next 10 years. And this is what when you're talking about 1 crore jobs by the industry, it creates almost like 4 to 5 extra indirect jobs. When we're talking about 4 to 5 crore direct and indirect job in the next 10 years alone by the electrical ministry. This is the outlook. This e-mobility sector brings it, and where it is this opportunity is going to come from the employee perspective, from the professional perspective. So there are areas where the manpower and the skill is going to be required. The R&D, I mean, student from the chemical, the professionals from the chemical material science field can take advantage of this kind of job opportunity. Design and development, and the huge opportunity on design and development. As I said, a lot of innovation is going to be happening. It's happening around, whether it's electronic circuit, software application, lightweight vehicle of the design, EV manufacturing area, machine-based, robot-based, quality testing, plastic modeling. There are a lot of innovation, a lot of new areas is going to be opened up. Infrastructure development, and that's where it's beyond this manufacturing. So charging station, high power electrical wiring, how our solar energy is going to be tapped in terms of the charging station, how we can really make an attractive charging station, and because that's where the huge opportunity is going to be. So this is just to give you that, and where you can really contribute, being an employee, being a professional, that automotive engineer, mechanical engineer, and the feasibility, manufacturing engineer, chemical, for everyone, including the environmental engineer, everyone has a role to play when we wanted to see the e-mobility as a success program in India. And when it is going to be success in and around India, it's going to be opening a huge opportunity for all the expert and professional across the world, because India always has been seen as a master skill community. And with this, I just close my session. I think we are already crossing that. And if there are any questions, I will be happy to answer it. Please put it into the chat box, and we will definitely answer it whenever the time permits. So thank you very much for the listening, and thank you, sir. You can take it from here for the next.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pradeep sir. It was indeed a very insightful session. A lot of things that you had said about the policies, the framework that India has built for the electric mobility is really inspiring. And I hope that we all at one day, see that electric mobility is taken over the transportation. So we do have one question. I guess the first question is about like, what is the energy, like there is a question about, is there any opportunities for energy engineers? I hope I saw one more question which I'm not able to find, but yes sir, I think you can actually answer this. Is there any opportunities for energy engineers?
Very much, very much. And this sectors required professionals who are really understand the dynamics of energy balance, because this is the sector. When we talked about that, the transport sector it's going to be on electric in place of oil based. So anyway, this is wherever the electricity is going to be produced, that is where the emission is going to be. And that's where they always say that the energy engineers are the one who really understand the dynamics, and that how the balancing need to be done when we talk about the promotion of or scaling of the e-mobility program. So energy engineers has I would say, important role to play when it comes to having it successful e-mobility program.
Okay, sir. So yeah, I got the question. Will hybrid vehicles be more or new EVs be more in the India in the coming years? So this is one question which was asked. So
See, hybrid, it's something I would say you have to see it from the transition period. So any changes which is going to happen, it will never happen with the 1 to 2. There will be a period where the transition is going to be, and that during the transition period, this hybrid model is always going to be there. But there will be manufacturer, there will technology which is going to allow you with the hybrid, but you might see after 4 or 5 years when the complete ecosystem is in place that standalone EV vehicle is going to be promoted more. But during the transition period, during the period when the retrofit activity is going to happen, when the manufacturer is going to come out, when the user, when the investor is not very sure that how the ecosystem, how the charging station is going to be placed, there is always going to be, I would say, a risk factor. Then this hybrid model, it's going to be in the field, I would say, for the next 5 to 7 years. And by the time the sufficient confidence comes among the end user, I mean, this will be phased out.
Okay, so thank you so much. So we do have a long question, I believe, which is about lithium-ion batteries, which I believe can be answered by the speaker who is going to be coming in the third session. So no worries. What are the opportunities for green financing? I believe the other questions can be also answered by the professionals working in the WRI, I believe. So no worries. Thank you so much, Mr. Pradeep. Thank you for joining us and giving this insightful session. In the interest of time, I think we can welcome. So thank you so for joining. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you all.
Thank you. So yeah, let's move on to the next session. It's about introduction to Ivana map. It's about an app which I believe is going to be interesting. So it will be delivered by Mr. Dhruv Jain. Mr. Jain is a member of the founding team at Greentree Global and GT Academy, and he has about 13 years of experience in the energy and efficiency sector. Currently, he is building up GT Academy, which is a sustainability education platform for students and energy professionals. So he loves to build teams, and he has actually led a lot of teams in the past to acquire strategic accounts and set up operations to deliver the mandates successfully. So he has been a part of a global talent pool at Siemens, Hinduja Group, and he has also worked with many organizations in various domains. I believe it's finance, strategies, channel management, project management, across all the automotive and electrical mobility sectors. So I believe he has got about 300 plus channel partners uh, partnership. I believe that's what it is written. So yes, he has worked with a lot of international agencies like USAID, Eco3 Reap. So yeah, I believe we would be really happy to welcome him. And let's wait. Let's give the session to Mr. Dhruv. Sir, you can take over. I believe you can present the screen. I've made you the host.
Thank you, Arshad. Can you do a sound check? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir. Thank you.
Okay.